Together, we're working on the definition of a healthy Christian leader. In the personal reflection, you wrote down the characteristics of exemplary Christian leaders that you have known. Please look at your complete list. If we were leaders who were strong in all these areas, that would be tremendous, wouldn't it? But this list is not necessarily practical in helping us think about healthy Christian leadership. It's too long. There are too many things there for us to work on at the same time. Perhaps we can reduce the number. Are there any characteristics in your list that don't really matter? Well, they're all important, aren't they? We need a simpler model that is robust enough to cover all these various important characteristics, but simple enough to give focus to our leader development work. Let's work on that now. Please look at Psalm 78, verse 70 to 72. God chose David his servant and took him from the sheepfolds. From following the lambs, he brought him to shepherd Jacob his people, and with upright heart he shepherded them and guided them with his skillful hand. There are three capacities of an effective leader mentioned here. First, God called David to be the leader of his people and gave him a vision. This is calling. Second, David shepherded God's people with an upright heart. This is character. And third, David guided God's people with a skillful hand. This is competencies. Calling, character, and competencies. These are our three initial characteristics of a healthy leader. Think about a three-legged stool. All three legs must be strong, or else the stool will collapse. What will happen if any of these three capacities is missing in a leader's life? If a leader is strong in character and calling, but weak in competencies, what will happen? Well, the people will trust him because of his character. They'll be excited and motivated to follow him because of his vision, but everything will be a mess because of his weak competencies. Well, if a leader is strong in character and competencies, but weak in calling, then what will happen? Again, the people will trust him because of his character, and everything will run really well because of his strong competencies, but little of great importance will be accomplished because of his lack of vision. The organization or the church won't really go anywhere. Finally, if a leader is strong in calling and competencies, but weak in character, then what will happen? This is the worst situation of them all, isn't it? Everyone will be destroyed, the leader and all those with him. So we must have all three: calling, character, and competencies. But is this enough to define a healthy Christian leader? Are these three elements sufficient? Let's look, please, at Jesus' two great commandments in Matthew 22. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind. This is the great and first commandment. And the second, you shall love your neighbor as yourself. Jesus' two commandments here establish two other critical elements. Love God with all your being and love your neighbor as yourself. Or we could say Christ and community. So now we have 5 elements of a healthy Christian leader: calling, character, competencies, Christ and community. We call these the 5 C's of healthy Christian leadership. Let's now put these in order. Which one comes first? Easy question. Of course, Christ is first. He is preeminent. Without him, without union with him, we can do nothing. However, spiritual maturity is not just an individual matter. In the New Testament, we see that it's only together that we know God fully. It's in community that we grow in Christ to maturity. So community is second. Christ and community. Then, from the indwelling life of Christ, and in the context of supportive and accountable community, character is developed. Christ, community, and character. Now that God has a leader who is walking in union with Christ, who is living in supportive and accountable community, and who's growing in character, he will give him or her a calling, a purpose to fulfill. Christ, community, character, calling. Finally, the leader will need specific competencies in order to fulfill that calling. Here now are the 5 elements of the healthy Christian leader, the 5 C's: Christ, community, character, calling, and competencies. Now, please look at the list of characteristics you made in the previous reflection. I predict that you'll be able to connect each characteristic on your list with one or more of these 5 C's. For example, you probably said prayer life. Well, that's Christ. Or you said accountability. That's an aspect of healthy community. Or family life, which is also community. Or humility, which is character. Or servanthood, which is character. Or clear vision, which is calling. Or good communication, which is an important competency. Everything will fit into this model. The 5C model is a comprehensive model that includes everything in the life of a healthy Christian leader. To be healthy, you must be strong in all 5 areas. Notice in this model, Christ is at the center and the circumference. The leader is in community, and in the leader are character, calling, and competencies. This is a healthy Christian leader.